been, and I'm sure you would like to thank all of you for coming and making the excitement of this week the crescendo that it's going to be. We're all excited, looking forward to Saturday night. I'd like to welcome all of our esteemed athletes who equally are excited and prepared for Saturday. You know, it's ironic that we are here in a building from 1684. It was once a hospital for retiring war veterans, people who'd come back from battle, come back from a bloody fight. And here we are, ironically, preparing for Saturday, one of the greatest events that we have had here in the Europe, Middle East and Africa region for some time. It's only fair to say that since we were here back in 2009, the business continues to develop and continues to grow. And before we turn it all over to the fighters, it's worth noting some of the landmarks that we're setting here. Commercially, there'll be approximately 355 million people watching this event on Saturday night. Here in Ireland, 99% of the population will be able to access this event live on national television for the first time. Obviously, BT Sport, clearly our major partner, will be broadcasting the event. And there's no doubt that 178 countries on Fight Pass sets a new record for UFC in this region. Lo and behold, we launch this week our relationship with EA Sports, one of our major sponsors, who launched the UFC Electronic Arts game this week, went straight to #1 on the charts. And so the momentum continues, but the most important part, and the piece that keeps this all together, is the commitment, the dedication, and the passion of those 22 fighters on Saturday night. With that, I'm going to hand it over to all of you to ask the questions to all of us. Thank you.
I could start with Conor, obviously. This was like the worst kept secret that you would wind up headlining this card. For, you know, we knew about the card well before we knew just when you'd be back. So I wonder if you could take us through sort of the build-up and the anticipation to healing from your surgery and knowing that this was in the future for you.
Yeah, it's a dream come true to be back here and put my nation on the map. As you heard, 99% of the population are going to watch this fight. The country was shut down for this fight. We're on terrestrial TV. I don't think there's a fighter that in the UFC's history that has done what I have done in the space that I've done it. And Saturday night when I go out there and put Diego away in the first round, I'll prove my worth.
Yeah, just a question for Diego there, please. Diego, obviously you've moved away from Jackson's before this fight. First of all, can I ask what changes that brought to your training, and also have you been in contact with Jackson's about a game plan at all for this fight, or have you cut ties completely with that camp?
Yeah, I actually saw that I got a call for a fight against Conor. I go to the second day to Reid Jackson, Albuquerque. We never separate. Is the reason I go to San Antonio is because I want to improve my jiu-jitsu skills. You know, I want to bring a lot of jiu-jitsu for this fight. And then I have my Brazilian coach. He's been with me for a long time, 10 years. So Reid Jackson, he wish me good luck and me go John. On Saturday night, it's going to be a great fight. I'm going to do my best out there.
Question for Ian McCall and Brad Pickett. Brad, we've rarely seen you emotional and angry with an opponent. Can you talk us through that and how you've managed to keep that focus? Because there is always a danger for fighters when they're fighting with emotion and anger.
Yeah, well, if everyone knows me as a fighter, I always keep myself to myself. I'm very respectable to anyone who does the sport to any level, because it takes a lot out of fire emotionally and physically to do what we do. So I expect anyone from fighting in the UFC to fighting on grassroots level. And yeah, so when I was fighting McCall the first time, or like to fight him, things get said and stuff, and I heard a lot of trash on the underground. Somebody was, hey, check this for and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I looked at it a little bit, and I just found it. What stuff he was saying was quite disrespectful, you know. And I like to say I'm a very respectable person. Didn't bother me too much because I was going to get to fight him in March, so I was like, well, there's my redemption right there. And then obviously he got injured, like I was saying, that disappointed me. I wasn't like, I think some people thought, I thought he was faking it. I don't think that's a case at all. You would never fake an injury in this sport. I don't think he's scared to fight me at all. You're not scared to fight anyone if you're in UFC. But yeah, it jarred me a little bit because it took away my redemption. But the thing what actually annoyed me more about it is afterwards he continued to keep chatting, and I was just like, man, if you fight me, you can talk as much as you want, but otherwise you just shut up. But now that's done now, and now we're fighting, and this camp actually, it was, you know, not too bad. I don't think he said that much, you know, I didn't take that much notice, to be honest. I was too busy training, and yeah, you know, yeah.
Brad, Ian's sitting there grinning away at your comments. Ian, you feel you've got under his skin, perhaps?
Yes, I do. I guess we call it a moral victory. I don't know, I was having fun and he got his feelings hurt, so it happens.
Brad, I understand you're also a little bit disappointed that the UFC have chosen to announce Chris Carriasso challenging Demetrius Johnson next for the flyweight title before what you believe will be a great fight on Saturday night, and they could have made the decision after that.
Yeah, I think I good luck to Chris Carriasso and stuff like that, but when I looked at my fight with Ian McCall, I think personally he had a fight with Demetrius Johnson that arguably he won. I had beat Demetrius Johnson. I just think the winner of this fight made sense, you know, but I'm not making those decisions, but all my job is to do is win Saturday and put myself in a good position. And like, I just feel a little bit like that mine and Ian's fight is kind of gone under the radar a little bit. I think, you know, people who follow my career, I never chat anything really. I'm very humble, keep myself to myself, but this is the first time I honestly truly believe that I'm going to be the first UFC European champion, you know, and I truly believe that. I don't say things, you know, just for the sake of saying it, and yeah, and like Ian McCall's in my way on Saturday, and you know, I'll get my job done Saturday, and then I'll go on to Demetrius. If it has to wait a bit longer than I would like to, so be it.
Thanks, Shan. My final question for Conor and Diego. Conor, is there any pressure on you? You always talk the talk and then you walk the walk. Is there any pressure on you with you very much being the star of this card and having to deliver on Saturday night?
You know, for me, there is no pressure for me. Pressure is an illusion, you know, but I want that illusion of pressure, you know. I keep more on, give me more pressure, so I put this guy away and make it look easy, which I will do. People will say, how did he do that? You know, let's skip the queue, let's jump this guy ahead of the queue and put him straight in for a title shot. Saturday night, they're going to see a true #1 contender here on Saturday night.
And finally, Diego, in the countdown show, you felt that you got to the point where you called Conor a clown at one point, that he talks like a clown. Do you think you were saying that because you feel he's underestimating you in this fight?
His talk right now. It's just like that, you know. You guys think he's gonna do that to me that easy, that quick. He can do it, you know, you never know, but he wanna do that easy way he's been talking. So this is why I call him a clown, you know, so you guys can see everything else. So everybody have a mouth, everybody talk what they want. I mean, ready for this fight, Conor. He's not gonna be the Diego we saw before. He's gonna be the new Diego from the 2 for 14, the ultimate fight. Knock out everybody out in the first round.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Question for Conor. Conor, over here, to your left. Over here. There you go. You really think that a win over Brandao will give you a title shot straight away?
I believe with this, the magnitude of this event, the opponent actually doesn't come into the equation. 5 weeks ago it was Conor Miller. The opponent changed, but nobody batted an eyelid. The tickets still sold out. You know, the magnitude of the event, it's set in stone. The performance I'm going to put in will stake my claim. They brought Cub Swanson over here, and I told him today outside the elevator, I said, they're bringing you over so you can sit front row and take a good look at a real number one contender.
And what was his response?
What was his response to that?
You're right.
Is Diego Brandao a tougher opponent than Conor Miller?
Yeah, I definitely think Diego has a better career than Conor Miller. He won the Ultimate Fighter where Conor Miller did not. He has wins over opponents that have beaten Conor Miller. It's a more pleasing matchup for the fans. Ultimately, the result will remain the same.
A question for Conor first up. Conor, how special will it be to walk out on Saturday night having seen some of your teammates already fight on the night?
Yeah, this is the culmination of years of hard work and years of dedication and years of a vision. I had this vision and this belief that I was going to bring the UFC back by the scruff of the neck, and I said it many times. And now here we are, and it is upon us. So why would you ever doubt me now? You know what I mean? I'm going to embrace every bit of this walk, you know. But I'm not going to get too hyped. I'm not going to get too timid. I'm going to stay in that perfect storm and get the job done for my hometown, put my nation on the map, do what hasn't been done before.
Question for Gunny. Gunny, how good was it having all your teammates train up in Iceland with you for a month or so?
It meant everything through this camp, you know. Having all these guys over, we've trained a lot in the past, and they've come over a few times, and I've been over there, and this camp has been the best yet, by far.
Question for Brad then. Brad, I think I'm right in saying that you asked to be on the Dublin card. Why did you want to get onto this card of all cards during the summer?
I've actually never been to Dublin before, so I like the reason. I like fighting Europe, to be honest. I fought in America quite a lot of times. I like fighting Europe. I have more personal friends and family to come and watch me fight. And if you can fight the same guys anywhere around the world, why not do it in Europe?
And then just to finish off that end of the table, Norman, this is your first UFC fight where your entire camp was in Next Generation Northern Ireland in Ballymena. Did that make it special again for you, or would you prepare to do a bit of work in San Diego and then come back and finish off in Ballymena?
I just thought it felt right to be training here, you know. I got a great coach behind me, great team, great training partners. I believe my training here back home. I learned a lot in America, especially in the last year or so, you know. I really upped my game, you know. I'm mentally tough, I'm technically good everywhere, so I'm hoping for a great match on Saturday night, and I hope this guy comes to bring it because I'm coming to finish him.
Question for Conor.
Yeah.
Conor, is it true you told your coach John Kavanagh back in 2009 that you would headline the next UFC card looking back to Dublin?
Yeah, that is true. You know, I was a little kid in the stands dreaming UFC 93. It was like 6 years ago now. I said to my coach, I really want to bring them back and headline the show. You know, I have a habit of predicting the future, and these visions I have keep coming true. So I want to encourage them. When I get these clear pictures and these clear visions in my head of what's to come, you know, I embrace them and I let it be known. And then, you know, for me, I love saying what I'm going to do and then going out and doing it. That to me is energized. That to me gets me going. That's what I love to do.
So without looking past Saturday night, have you had any clear images or what's going to hold in the next 12 months? Because you said you don't think it's going to come back to the O2 the next time, it'll have to be somewhere bigger.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly believe right now we could have sold out a football stadium. We could have sold out Croke Park. We could have sold out the Abbey. The venue is too small, there's no doubt about it. As far as the path, you know, who knows what way the path will lead, you know. It changes each step, but the vision I'm having, the clear vision, is that gold belt wrapped around my waist by the end of 2014, and it's as clear as day. And I'll just carry on in the gym, carry on learning. Of course, Saturday night, the job is to be done.
And finally, just for Norman. Norman, as I said to you before, a bit of a turnaround in yourself and your confidence, how you're conducting yourself in the last couple of months. You've gotten over the UFC jitters at the start of your career. How important is the finish on Saturday night to put an exclamation mark on the performance?
You know, everyone wants to see go finish fights. Before I joined the UFC, that's the way I went about my fights. Having finished first round. You know, I've got a lot of confidence over the last year. You know, training in America, I kind of seen what level I was at training with guys like Ross Pearson, Miles Jury, Mike Chandler. You know, and I know I'm right up there. And after I put this to the way here and Saturday night, you know, I want to talk to my opponent. You know, I ain't going to sit in my back and just be the little quiet boy. You know, I'm here to challenge for the title, and I ain't taking a step back from no one.
Question for Zach Cummins. Zach, you obviously you're filling in for an injured fighter in this fight. Can you just tell me the thought process when you were offered the fight? Was it the fact that it was a co-main event? Were you bothered with the short-ish notice you got? You know, I feel there's a few people won't fight Cuddy because of his undefeated record and how well he's doing in the UFC. So just tell us about your thought process in taking the fight.
Yeah, I actually, right after my last fight with Cabral, they asked me if I would take if I wanted a short turnaround, and you know, I felt great, didn't get hurt in the fight, so I wanted one. They actually offered me a fight to fight tonight in Atlantic City against Kenny Robertson. I accepted that fight, and the very next day, I get a call from Joe Sullivan and say, hey, you know, we kind of had something happen. Would you rather fight 3 days later to co-main event in Dublin and, you know, fight Gunnar Nelson? I've been a fan of Gunnar's. I love his style. I jumped at the opportunity. When you're here in the UFC, picking your fights is just ridiculous. Anybody that doesn't want to fight, turn fights down just because they're scared of some, you know, a tough fight, a tough opponent. Everybody's good now, so it's kind of pointless. I want to prove that I'm the best. I want to prove that I'm, you know, top in the world, and you have to do that by fighting other guys at that level. And this is my opportunity.
Question for Norman. People might have forgotten that Mr. Katani on the end there, on the right-hand side, is the most experienced fighter on this card. Can you talk us through some of the dangers he brings to you in this fight?
When I first got the call by Joe Sullivan, you know, I got his name, you know, my first impression was, who is it, you know, and I checked up his record, you know, and I thought, right, this guy's ain't no slouch, you know, he's a tough, crafty veteran, been around a long time, so I'm hoping for the best for Katani. This is a second opportunity at the UFC, so I'm prepared for the best, and but the same as it's always going to be the same result. I'm coming home with a win, you know, I'm back on home turf, and I'm ready, I'm 100% mentally focused, my training, my weight's perfect, so I'm ready for this guy, you know. I hope it comes standing. I want to stand and bang, you know, because my strike is very underestimated. I can good takedown defense, I'm good on the floor, I'm good everywhere, so I'm hoping it comes and comes forward, you know, because that's the type of fights I want. I want people that come forward that really test my abilities, and I ain't here to hang around, you know. I'm a dangerous fighter for anyone.
This question goes off on a little bit of a tangent for you, Norman, for you as well, Conor. Before you both came into the UFC, you were kind of headed on a collision course to facing each other at some point. When you sit there, Norman, Conor's headlining here in Dublin, do you project forwards and perhaps see yourself maybe even fighting Conor in a headline event in Ireland?
Possibly there's a good opportunity that could happen, but right now I think we're on different paths at the minute, you know. The UFC has, they got their way for Conor, you know, I'm on my path, but depending on where Conor really wants to compete at, you know, if he wants to move up and compete lightweight, you know, I'm more than welcome to the challenge, you know. You really think this show sold out quick, Crook Park was sold out 10 times quicker, so it would be, you know, a bit interesting match-up of styles. You know, Conor's a very good fighter. I've always followed him from the start, and I knew he was going to make it to the big time. I wish him all the best in his journey.
Thank you.
Question for Ayuki Katani. First of all, welcome to Ireland. 7 years since you fought in the UFC, did you ever think you'd get to come back to your organisation?
UFC に戦うために日本で成績作ってまたこうやってもう一回戦う機会が与えられて光栄です。
He's very excited that he's been able to train and get into good shape to come here and take part in the tournament.
And you're coming up against one of a well-known man on this island, Norman Park. How have you prepared for Norman?
ノーマンパークはオールラウンドで強い選手だと思いますけど、自分の方がサブミッションでは上回ってると思うので、サブミッションで勝ちます。
So Norman Park is a well-known, very good all-round performer, but my technique is submission, and that's how I'm going to win.
For Norman, Norman, we haven't seen you finish in the last 3 or 4 fights. How important it is now? You're in Ireland, you're going to have 9,000 screaming Irish fans. How important is it to finish the tourney here?
I remember the last time I fought here in 2010, I fought a guy, Conor Mcgregor, and I finished him in the second round by guillotine, you know. A really good, respectable fighter, you know, and this guy is different here, you know. I'm wary of his technique, I'm wary where he's good at, you know. I'm going to fight to his weaknesses, you know, and I'm going to fight to my strengths, you know. I feel like I'm physically stronger than him. I'm a strong 55er, I'm explosive and fast, and my striking is 10 times better than his, so I hope he's prepared, you know. I hope he's prepared, he's worked his hands, you know, he's kept his level head, you know, he's coming into Ireland, you know, he's coming into my second home here, so he's going to feel it on Saturday night, you know, and I'm hoping he's coming forward.
Question for Conor. Conor, when the history books of Irish MMA are written, it'll be Rodney Moore, John Calvin, Andy Ryan, who will be known as the founders, but how important is it for you to be known as the protagonist of the success story that is Irish MMA?
Yeah, so that's something I can take with me forever. You know, the man who kicked down the door and help pave the way for the next generation of fighters coming up. So, you know, before me there was no path. There was no one I could look to, no other Irish man I could look to and say, that guy done it, you know, I'm going to go follow his route. We created this path. And, you know, you think I'm good, and I am good, wait until you see the next generation.
And a question for Zach Cummings. Zach, a lot of fighters show emotion during fight week and during fight, which can be beneficial to their opponents and can play off it. Is there any danger for you knowing, fighting a guy like Gunny who shows no emotion in the cage?
I'm actually think that I'm very similar to him. I'm actually a little bit more, but you know, this is a straight sport for me. It's competition. I love to go out, compete, and win. And so him not having emotion, it's not going to do anything to me. When we get in there one-on-one inside that cage, you know, there's going to be some emotion come out. You might not see it, but I'll see it in his eye, and that's all that I know. That's all I care about.
Question for Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar, over here. You said you've been working on your striking a lot the last couple of years. If you could pick out a fight go ideally, would it be a submission or a knockout finish?
No pick. Wherever the fight goes, I'll take it. And I'll walk wherever, on the field or on the ground. Doesn't matter to me.
Sorry, just a question for Ian. You've had a lot of injuries after the Santos fight. Your hand and your thigh, I believe it was. How fit are you going into this fight?
You know, in MMA you're always banged up, but I'm in great shape. Technically I've been better than I've ever been. I haven't competed in a year, and I've got some improved skills that I'm ready to show off. But besides that, I'm healthy.
Just question for Gary as well. Gary, Conor and Norman have mentioned that, you know, Crow Park and sell out for the Abbey Stadium. Is this going to be a regular annual event going in the line in Dublin?
Here in Dublin? Yeah. Well, you can only judge it by the track record. So tickets went on sale and they sold in 25 minutes. And I think Conor's absolutely right. We could have sold this 10 times over. You know, one of the things that's becoming more and more apparent now in every market, whether it's Stockholm, whether it's London, whether it's Dublin, you know, tomorrow night there are 9 countries represented. There are 5 fighters from the Emerald Isle. You have to be a brave man to go and fight away from home when the crowd are going to be as live as they are on Saturday night. So there's going to be a day here pretty soon when it's going to be a stadium in Ireland.
Thanks.
Good round, Conor, respectively. Obviously, you guys have you've trained a lot over the years together, but for this fight, especially in Iceland, as characters, you're very different, charisma-wise, you know, and the way you prepare yourself. What have you learned from one another in this time, you know, trading in each other's pockets and being so close together for this camp?
you know, maybe charisma-wise or whatever, you know, we might be different, but when it comes to preparation, we are identical. You know, we are curious about this game, and I've learned so much from this man and his mind frame and his approach. And I'm forever grateful. This has been phenomenal. This is the first time we were on a card together, main and co-main UFC event, fastest selling. You know, this is special. This whole camp has been special. Our preparation has gone flawless. Saturday night you will see the future 170-pound champion in Gunnar Nelson, and you will see the future 145-pound champion in myself. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and for Gunnar, what you've learned from Conor?
I've always said we're very different, we see different things, but we think in similar ways, so we're able to feed off each other. He might see something from a different angle, and then he can show me, and then it fits to me. So we're such a great team because of this, and I'm very grateful to have him as my training partner.
Question for Ian McCall. There was a lot of talk pre-fight before the Carriazo DJ fight got announced that if Pickett defeats you, that he maybe would be next in line for a title. Where would a win over Pickett put you in the division?
Beating Brad, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a guaranteed title shot. Will I take a title shot? Sure. You know, Demetrius, he has something in his mind. And, I mean, I don't mind earning what I deserve, and if I have to fight again after this, then so be it. If I have to fight 5 more times, that's fine. But of course, taking the fat shot's always nice.
And also, Demetrius Johnson earlier on this week actually picked you to defeat Brad Pickett. So can we get a reaction from you on that prediction and also from Pickett as well?
Demetrius is he's a smart guy.
I guess Demetrius has wishful thinking. He'd rather fight Ian than me.
A question for Ian again. Ian, in your first fight in the UFC, you had a controversial draw with Demetrius Johnson. A lot of people thought you won that fight. Do you look back at that now and think, you know, shit, on another night, you know, I could have got the win there, might have got a win then in the final, could be champion now. You know, do you ever look back with a little bit of regret about how that fight went down?
Of course not. Don't ever think about how my life has completely changed. But yeah, of course, it's torture. And, you know, I maybe let it affect me in a negative way sometimes, but if you use this fuel, it can definitely make you very, very hungry.
Conor, obviously your goal is to win on Saturday night. What are your goals outside of the sport?
Me?
Yes, Darren.
I don't really know, you know, I can't get outside of this sport. I'm in this MMA bubble, in this bubble of chasing that dream and going towards that goal. I don't really have nothing else in my head, you know. I don't think about nothing else except this. I can't even sit through a movie without drifting off 10 minutes in and I'm in half guard top, trying to advance past half guard and, you know, secure a dominant position, and then next thing you know, the film is half over and I haven't a clue what's going on, you know. So I'm just in my little bubble right now to attain gold. And that's really it.
I mean, you addressed pressure a little bit before. Do you feel any pressure representing your country in this match?
You know, like I said, pressure is an illusion, I believe, you know. But it needs to feel that way, you know. Pressure creates diamonds, you know. It creates drama, it creates tension, you know. It creates money at the end of the day. So I want all this pressure on me. I want people to feel like, how's he going to react after this long layoff and coming home, main event in his hometown? How can he cope with all of this? And then I go out and perform the way I perform and blow everyone away, you know, silence the division and raise my country, you know, put my nation on the map. We haven't had this before, you know, so I'm happy to be a part of it, and I'm happy to be leading the way for my country, representing my countrymen, the fighting Irish. I have no doubt. My name, the McGregor name, is bled on the battlefield in the war-torn Scottish Highlands in the 17th century when we were fighting off the British. Now, I believe my ancestors were doing that in them days. I'm here doing that in the modern era, fighting on the modern gladiator stage in the UFC. So I'm doing what I was put here to do, and I firmly believe that.
Thank you.
Question for
for Gary Cook. A lot of talk today about title fights. Brad Pickett is looking for a title fight. Conor McGregor's looking for a title fight at featherweight. We've got Alex Gustafsson going for the light heavyweight title again in September. We've seen the McGregor effect in Ireland and the kind of the growth and the mushrooming of the sport through this great personality and this fighter who's burst onto the scene. To you, as the head of the movement in this area of the world, is it important to have fighters and personalities, or do we really need a world champion from this zone, as GSP made a difference in Canada, and several Brazilians obviously did over a long period in Brazil with Anderson Silva and Jose Aldo and so on. So is it about personality and what fighters provide in terms of interest and intrigue, or is it about getting champions?
It's a little bit of all of the above, but you better be pretty talented before you become a personality in this sport, as you well know. But we're very competitive now within the global landscape. So, you know, the Brazilian team, the Latin American team, the Canadian team, the US team, everybody wants their nation to be carrying the flag, to be winning a world title. So I'm lucky because we've got a great team that we've built in Europe. We've added 15 people here in the region. We're very lucky because we've got great talented athletes, and I think there's more to come. I think Conor and Brad and all the guys that you've mentioned are only the tip of the iceberg. They're because kids are going to aspire to be to fight and to be as strong as these guys. So there's more to come yet. There's many more nations, but I don't think we are far away from having a European title holder.
Question for Conor. I just wanted to get your response to what Norman said about, you know, a fight against him selling out the stadium. Do you think that would be the fight given the history between the two countries, or do you think anyone against you here would sell out a stadium like that?
Yeah, me and Norman have had it in the past, and our careers have gone different ways. I've main evented, and I'm happy that he's on my undercard, you know, but as far as me and him selling Croke Park, let's get it straight. It's me that sells Croke Park, and it has nothing to do with Norman. But Norman's a great guy, he's a nice guy. If the fight happens, it happens. But right now, I'm focused on featherweight gold, and that's that. I feel it's in my reach.
Thank you.
Question for Gary. Gary, with the reaction from Berlin and how quick this event sold out, are you pushing for the UFC? I know there's contracted for 6 EMEA events a year, but surely for 2015 you want to improve that considerably.
Yeah, I don't know where the 6 number comes from. The 6 is, or 5 is what we'll deliver in 2014. Where are we? 2015. We're going to continue to grow and build. I don't know what your reference was to Berlin, but there was good reason to go to Berlin, and the rewards are going to come out of Berlin. So every market has a different opportunity. This is a fighting nation. This has some great fighters. I think you'll see on Saturday night. It has a history and a heritage in fight sports, and we're capturing the moment right now, and we're going to continue to do that. So we'll be back in Dublin as much as we'll be back in London and Stockholm, and then there's new markets to come. We always talk about that.
And just finally for Conor, you mentioned about you won the title by the end of the year. Do you think that Aldo suffering from an injury, you may have to wait till 2015 before you get a title shot? Because I know you yourself would say you'd be ready to go again in 2 months, but if Aldo still has to have the title fight, it's unlikely that he'll be turned around for the end of the year.
You know, I'm not sure of the state of the injury that the current champion has had. So who knows what way the path will form. But like I said, I seem to have a habit of predicting the future, and the vision is clear that the belt is on my waist by the end of the year. Now, how it forms and happens, I'm yet to find out. But let's say the champion comes back by the end of the year, then an injury to the competitor, then I slot in. There is avenues there, you know what I mean? So I don't know what way it will happen, but I just have that clear picture that the belt is on my waist by the end of the year.
When you see how the MMA, the media is taught down here, does it bother you that Northern Ireland hasn't just accepted it the same way as it has down here?
To be honest, I think it's an absolute joke, you know. The people in the south here, they get their heads screwed on, they're following Conor, you know, they're behind him, they're behind everyone here in Ireland, you know. to step out of the race circle and just go and actually understand the sport in general, you know. But I've actually got more support from the people down south there than I did the north, you know, and I'm from the north, so I feel like getting up there and just pulling them out of their little executive box and having a big slam over the head, you know. So, but, you know, I think it is an absolute disgrace, you know. They should be doing the same as the people down south, you know.
Question for Gary, please. Gary, obviously you've come from a footballing background and you've worked in those circles before, and that's a sport where grassroots is of vital importance. Could I just ask you your opinion on grassroots MMA in regions such as Ireland, and you know how important is promotion of such cage warriors to the UFC and feeding fighters if your organisation can go on to become elite athletes like Conor McGregor and a few of the other guys on the card this summer?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, we're building for the future, right? So you've got to start looking out 5-10 years out. And the catalyst for development has always been the Ultimate Fighter. It's a great way to find talent, put them to the test. We find, I think tomorrow night there's 5 fighters on the card. Saturday night, 5 fighters on the card from Tough. And so our objective here, we've never had an Ultimate Fighter or a reality show that develops the talent in this market. So obviously that's something we're working on, and I think within the next 12 months you'll see something happen in that area. But I also think that success breeds success, and I think if you look at the event on Saturday night, more and more kids are going to aspire to become part of this movement. Everything's catching fire, I think, in every market, and there's more talent to come.
Question for Gary. There's a few rumours going around this week, as always during Fight Week, that Carl Swanson's been brought in to potentially announce a tough Europe with him as a coach against McGregor. Now, I know you're not going to confirm or deny that at an official release, but would you consider going ahead with tough Europe without McGregor, given his personality?
I don't think you start there. I think the first thing you do is identify a market where you want to have a tough. You've got to find a broadcaster where you want to have a tough, and then you decide what the talent's going to be. So I think there's probably a few premature comments of jump the gun there a little bit. Okay, well, gentlemen, ladies, thank you very much. Just want to bring this to a close. I'd like to thank again our athletes who are respected by millions around the world. I want to thank you, the media, who make this what it is. I don't think you'll find an atmosphere as electric as you will on Saturday night. I'm ready for it. I hope everybody else is. And thank you very much.